I turned my fan off, sorry. Got a fan blowing on me because it's kind of toasty warm in this room. Anywho. I'll give it a few minutes as usual and wait for that number down there to change to something other than a 0. Alrighty. Oh, I just realized I didn't fix my top left header. Hang on. I need to fix that. There we go. Much better. Fixing it live while I'm on air. Alrighty. Did I get a haircut? Yeah, a little bit. Got it trimmed up a little bit. Alright, and there's Dubs. And hey, that's I recognize that name. That's Gabe. Welcome back, Gabe and Doc. How are you? So we're going to go ahead and get started now. So, like I usually do at the beginning of each one of these videos, we're going to go through the bosses, which will usually have a minimum of one that's going to be reused and one that's going to be new. So this one's the reused one. This is the Elemental Spawn, I believe it was. It was one of the last several that we had before they started naming bosses after the top one in the leaderboards. So this one was originally Water and Fire, I think, or Fire Water. Now it's going to be what looks to be Air Water. So that's one. And there's two. That's the new one. So this is the new boss. Looks to be Air Earth. So there's our two bosses. So like usual, there we are. So first boss, number 2, is going to be boss 1, and image 3 is going to be boss 2. There we go. Alright, so there's our bosses. Air Earth and Air Water as usual, as we would normally expect. And we're going to move on now to, first things first, we have a pet. So this is Air Month, so there's an air pet. And we're going to start off with that one there to begin with. So let's get those out of the way really quick first before I even really get going. So we have, let's see, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I think, yeah. 0 through 4 are going to be pets, so we'll just get those out of the way really quick right now. The images, the heads of them will come later, but I want to just get those out of the way right now. Okay, so first things first, here's one armor. Now, I was talking with Legion earlier, and he said he recognized this like it looked familiar. I don't think it looks familiar. I think that's all brand new. Or no, sorry, not this one. One later. This is the raid armor, so this is armor number 1. So this is Air and Earth. That is male, yeah. And this is the reskinned armor I mentioned. This is the Elemental Spawn, but now it's Air and Water. So you can see the water droplets around there and stuff. So that's the Air and Water. So that's armor number 2. And that is, I believe, male as well. I believe so, should be. And yeah, that's the female right after it, so that makes it easy. Alright, and that one is just a step down, I think. No, sorry, I went the wrong direction. There's the female, okay. Of that very first one. Okay, and there's this one messed me up the last time I saw it when the armor was originally the armor was originally new. This one messed me up because I couldn't tell which ones were ascended versus unascended. I think that's actually unascended female. Yeah, the horns on the back of the head are much smaller. So this one's actually the No, sorry, that's actually male. Yeah, sorry, this is actually male, one step down from Ascension. So never mind, I was on the wrong one entirely. So this is actually male 1, and then that one is, I believe, female. So number 9 is the female. There we go. Okay, so this was one that Legion said he recognized. He said Tempered Crown Plate, which is an early Shadow Forged Water and Fire. I don't personally see it, but the helmet is sort of similar. The shield's totally different. The weapon's totally different, but I kind of see where he's coming from. It's kind of similar, but I don't think it looks that similar. So that one is the Air and Water, which is this is probably just going to be one of the, it's probably going to be a war armor, I would imagine. I'll go through that all later, but this is armor 3, Air and Water. That is, I believe, the female. Let me just zoom in here a little bit. Yeah, definitely female. Okay. And here's another new one. Now this one is kind of reminiscent of the current, this is also Air and Earth, kind of reminiscent of the current Earth and Air armor that I think for this month is going to be the Fusion armor toward the end of the month. This one looks like kind of reminiscent of that one, so it has a similar kind of look and feel to it. But it doesn't look like, and this is the one that Legion was saying looks similar to another armor in the past. I don't personally see it. I think it looks pretty all new, but I don't know. But that's Air and Earth, so that's the, I believe, that is the male. I'm pretty sure that's the male. So that one is armor 4, Air and Earth. Now this is one of 2 reskins. So there's the first one we saw, which is the Elemental Spawn. This one is the second one, and they're just regular reskins. They're not anything different. They're just color changes. This is the Cyber Lance. It was an Earth and Fire armor from season 20-something, 26, 27, I think. But this was originally Air and Earth, or this was originally Earth and Fire, sorry. And this one is just a full, regular, run-of-the-mill reskin, recolored only, Air and Spirit instead. So that's really only 2 reskins in this entire pack of data. There are 3 armors we'll get to in just a moment that are, I like to call them reimaginings. They're not really reskins. They are old armors that have been redone slightly, restyled, if you will. So this is armor, so this is Air Spirit, armor 5, that's male. And there's the step down from Ascension, I believe, of the male, or excuse me, the female. We already had the male. And that's the male version of the Air and Water right here, number 3. I totally relabeled that the wrong one. Ah! It's actually supposed to be armor number 2. There we go. Much better. That's this guy. I renamed it the wrong one. So this one is actually the male of that one there. So Air and Water, male. Hang on a second. Yeah, that's the right one. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm not messing myself up again, because I am very adept at doing that. There's the base of the male of this guy. And here is one of the ones I wanted to show you guys. Now, this is actually one of my favorite armors from the Epic era. This is the Chaotic Hellguard. As you can look at the head right here, and I actually did kind of before this started, I did actually grab a sheet and make the Chaotic Hellguard so you could look at them side by side. If you look at the head, this is actually the head, the Knights and Dragons emblem is the Chaotic Hellguard, just in case anyone didn't know that. It's not as obvious from this angle, but if you zoom in here a little bit, that's the Knights and Dragons head, the logo, is the Chaotic Hellguard. And this is the Chaotic Hellguard reimagined. So if you look, the head is very similar. It has the same kind of tuft of stuff coming off the back. Very similar kind of chest plate. It's a little bit, a little bit different there. And then the legs are very similar. It has the same kind of little thing sticking out the bottom here. The shield is, of course, very different. The weapon is also fairly similar. You can see it has the handle here at the bottom. Similar handle, different weapon all in all. It has just kind of a spiral shape to it. But this one just looks like a regular sort of sword. And then the bottom of it has this spiked bit. But it is very clearly the Chaotic Hellguard. So, and this was a beast. It was originally, I think it was Spirit Water. So now it's going to be Air and Spirit. So this is one of 3 in the files. So, remake Maelstrom. They might, who knows? But this is just what we have so far. Okay, so this one is armor 16, so this is armor 6, also air and spirit. That is male. Here's number 2. Now this is the exclusive, unless they change things. This looks like, to me, the Dragon Forged Armor Avian Aegis. So again, I kind of prepped this in advance. Let me jump back to here. So if you look at the head, they look very, very similar. Not exactly the same, of course, because it's been restyled somewhat, but very similar. If you look at the feathers on the back here, feathers on the back. Shield, of course, is different because this looks more like just like a wing, like a head of a bird and a wing. So this is the dual air. This is the exclusive dual air armor right here. The weapon is, of course, different, but the armor itself is clearly the inspiration for this armor. So this is clearly the inspiration for the dual air exclusive. People call it elite. I prefer the term exclusive, but that's that one. Yep, that one's one of my favorites. The Chaotic Hellguard remake is by far my favorite so far this month. Granted, we only just started, but I mean, I've looked at this file briefly earlier, this pack of data just briefly earlier, but I didn't really look at it in detail. So this is air. That is, I believe, male. Oh, actually, no, that's female. There's the male right next to it. Okay, here is the step down from Ascension of the very first raid armor. Yeah, there's more good stuff in here. That one is a step down from Ascension on the male of the Air and Spirit. That one? Yes. Okay, just wanted to make sure. Whoops, wrong button. Just wanted to make sure I had the right one. Yeah, Dubs has already looked at this, so he already knows. So this one, I'm pretty sure is going to be our fusion armor, I believe. Because this one is, yeah, he's already looked it over. He's already seen the files. I'm not sure if I told him or not, but he's already seen the files, I'm pretty sure, at this point. I think I got the files within about 10 minutes after they hit the servers. But I think everybody else got them probably around the same time. So I think this is probably going to be a fusion armor, I think. Because this month the Air Earth would be seasonal, and Air Water would be the fusion, because normally it would have been Air Water would have been the exclusive until they changed to the duals. So this one is, I think, going to be our fusion armor. But again, I'll cover that all toward the end. So that's armor number 8. Air and Water. Where do we go to see how to do what? Extracting the data out of the files? It's not that exciting, to be honest. I think that's male, I'm pretty sure it is. There's the female base of the, I think that's female. Looks like it. Of the Air and Spirit right here. That's the Ascended version, though. Just want to see it once. It's, honestly, I mean, it's, the whole process to extract it is, it's boring. It's really, truthfully boring. The initial way I learned how to do it is using what's called a hex editor. You have to basically open up the file, the original pack file. It's called a pack file because it's actually a .pak in a hex editor, and then you have to do a find, basically Control F to do a search within the pack file for anything that has the hex bits for PNG files, which is what these are. These are all PNGs. You have to find the beginning bit and then the ending bit of each file. And you have to start at the top, and then you have to scroll down. Actually, the app you found, I actually realized after you told me about it that I knew about it a long time before then. I just hadn't been using it. So I did realize that it was the same app I had on my computer for like, I think I downloaded it like a year and a half before you told me. I just didn't realize that's what it did. So anyway, there is actually an app that we can extract all the images out much faster. But the initial process would take me an hour and a half to 2 hours, minimum, to extract all the data out. So mind-numbingly boring. But anyway, yeah, okay, that actually was. But yeah, I actually found I had that app on my computer in a different folder entirely and didn't know what it did. And I was like, oh, that's what that does. I realized it a long time. Forget the 6-pack. Bring a case, yeah. It took forever to pull that data out of that file. So anyway, I'm going to assume that's the female base of that one. And the images show up just like this, where they have the images all broken up into pieces. Yeah, they do. Okay. And here's the female of our Air and Earth that was down here. I think it was that one. Yeah. So there's the Air and Earth. That's the female. And there's the Cyberlance reskin, which I think was this one. Yep. That is it. There's the Chaotic Hellguard, but that's the female version. Where are you? I think it's that one. There, I think. Yeah. So that's the female version of that one. Oops. There's the base male of the Air and Spirit right there. And here is number 3. Now, I could be wrong on this, but this looks an awful lot like the Angelic Battle Mail to me. It was a raid armor from ages ago, Air and Fire. Whoops, wrong folder. I'll let you guys kind of look at it and make up your own minds. But that head and that head look way too similar to me. That looks like an Angelic Battle Mail kind of remake. Now the armor, of course, is a little bit different. The shield is obviously different, and so is the weapon. You can see the weapon's very different, but the head looks just a little too similar to me. Kind of look at them, kind of side by side there. Looks like the Angelic Battle Mail to me. So in this file, we have 2 epics and a Dragonforge that have been remade. So Avian Aegis, this one here, the Angelic Battle Mail, and then the Chaotic Hellguard. And funny thing, I don't know if this was intended or something they were already in the works or already had in the works, but I mentioned to one of the Deca guys that a lot of people would be really interested in them reusing Epic and Dragonforged armors. And just redesigning them, either just reusing them as is and adding Shadowforged effects to them, or redesigning them slightly and kind of restyling them so they look more cool. But given that, we have only 2 reskins this month. Only 2. We're actually down. There's only 1 armor left. So there's only 2 reskins. These are restyles or reimagines, I guess you could call it, because they don't look like any armor really, other than their similarities to the armors they were pretty clearly based on. So this is the Angelic Battle Mail, and it is Air and Fire, which the original armor I believe was Air and Fire, I think, too. But that's armor number 9. So that's Air and Fire. Sorry, that actually is the last one. That's mail. So it's pretty cool, I think, that they've done that. This is, let me grab this really quick before I finish my thought. But I did mention it to them. I think it was toward the end of last month. So I'm not sure if this was something they already had, like, in the plans or not, but I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, I like it a lot as well. So there's the female version of the same one. Whoops, nope, don't do that. Wrong fingers on the wrong keys. So there's the female version. There's the base of the female of, I think it's this one here. Yep, okay, just making sure, because I am known to screw myself up on the daily. Okay, there is our Air and Earth, which I believe was... Where'd you go? Right there? Yeah, that's it right there. So again, this one kind of looks similar to me to the current Air and Earth. It's really the only one left this month, after the raid and the war. So, yeah. And then again, this one, I'm trying to recall what he said about the armor. Or, sorry, that was the tempered crown plate, sorry. It looks similar in some ways to me too, but I don't think it's really based on that one originally. So it looks kind of similar to it, yes, but the shield's totally different, the weapon's totally different. There's some similar effects on the weapon once it's ascended, but I don't see it personally. But that's just me. And that one was that one? No, not even close. It was this one. Yeah. So this is a step down from Ascension on that one, but it's the female. And there is a step down from Ascension. That's the base, actually. Sorry, hang on. The base? No, I'm sorry. That's the male. That's not the female. What am I doing? Derp. There we are. Okay, so now we have the female. We have the base of the female of this very first one. And there is the Chaotic Hellguard. And that's the male, which I believe was that one. Yep. Okay. That's the male base, or male base. I am on one today. Male, oh, for what the hell? Don't do this to me again, stupid computer. My keyboard isn't responding again. That's just lovely. That's not what I wanted at all. Okay, my keyboard has decided it wants to be possessed again. That's amazing. What the hell was it? Was it this one? Yeah, okay. Lovely. I'm going to have to do this by hand. Will it even let me type in there? Oops, I'm sorry. Duh. Okay. There's air and water. That's the male. I think it was this one. Yeah, that's the right one. Okay. Oh, for crap's sake, stop it. Yeah, my F2 key no longer works for whatever reason. It just won't do. I'm hitting it over and over again. It's doing nothing. My computer has become possessed. My copy and paste is not doing anything. I can't do anything with it. So I have to just, for whatever reason, I can't hit Control. I can't hit Alt. I can't hit anything. It doesn't do anything. Yep, won't do anything. Control F2, nothing. It did this to me a few streams ago. I'm not sure what the deal was. It just started freaking out on me and I couldn't do anything, and then all of a sudden started working again. Oh, now it's working again. Just like that. What the hell? Okay, that's the female, but that's the base actually of the female. Don't do that to me. Stupid thing. Stop jumping. So that one is the same one, but it's the base of the female. For some reason they come out of order that way sometimes. There's the base, or the female, but evolution 1. Go back to the days before. The first two Shadow Forged were the Aeolian Abomination and the Agni's Offering. Those were the first two. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the thing there. In a November month, not knowing what the elements will be. We know what the elements are going to be ahead of time. There's a calendar that I made that shows the elements month by month by month. I need to actually make one for 2020, speaking of which. My keyboard's just being possessed for some strange reason. Okay. There is the Avian Aegis reimagined. That's the dual air, which is this one here. Yeah, suddenly my keyboard's working again. Stupid thing. There's the female of the air and earth right there, I believe. Yep. Cool. Makes it easy. Yeah, I think November might be air. Smart ass. So there's the female of the air and spirit, which was number... that one right there, number 6? Yeah. Gabe's just being a smart ass himself. That's just kind of par for the course with Gabe. He's always like that. Okay, was it this one? Yeah, it's this one right here. That's the male base of the same armor. There we go. So there's the Chaotic Hellguard, and you can really tell if you look at the helmet right there. It looks just like the original helmet. The chest also looks very similar. So that one is this one here, but the base. There's the that one looks even more similar in my eyes to the angelic battle mill, especially with these wings coming off the head. So that's that one there. That's the female step down from Ascension. At least I'm pretty sure it is. And there's the male step down from Ascension. Chaotic Hellguard, female base. That one right there. Yeah, it's actually something that's been mentioned to them. I'd venture to say probably in the neighborhood of about 150 to 200 times they've had that specific suggestion sent to them. And it's unfortunately in the realm of we don't want to touch that code. because if they do, they could break all sorts of stuff. So as much as they might want to do it, I don't think they will. At least not right away, anyway. It's something that they actually have gotten a lot of requests for, but it's one of those things that it's involved in kind of the core mechanics of the game, and they don't want to mess with that too much. Okay, so there's that one. That was the air water up here at the top, I think it was. Yep, okay, there's that one. That's the male base. There's the Avian Aegis reimagined. That's the female, one step down from Ascension. There's the female base. Makes it easy. There's that one, which is the air and fire right here. I think that's the base of the male. There's the base of the air and water. This one? Yes. Just making sure, again, I'm not messing myself up, but that's the female base. There's the air and earth. Again, I'm just making sure I'm not messing myself up because I am known to do that. Male and female right next to it. Convenient. And there's the Avian Aegis again. That's the male base. And there's the last one. That's the female base of the Angelic Battle Male. And there is our cape. So again, there are two identical images. I don't know why they do that. But you have one that's at rest and one that's in battle. Yeah. So this is our cape, if you will. Looks like a big frosted sort of like snowflake, really. So that's cape. So you go 1, 2, oh, they're all back to back. Perfect. Makes it easy. Okay, so 59 through 61. Okay. 59 to 61. And the last one, which was 61, is the cape image itself. Alright. Now we go into heads. So this one is the very first armor. Should be relatively easy to sort these heads out. It's when I get into the rings and amulet sets, I'm not always as sure. That's the Chaotic Hellguard, which is that one? Yeah. There's the air and earth right there, I believe. Yep. There's the air and spirit. This one. Yep. The only other air and spirit in the files, obviously. There's the air and water fusion. Pretty sure it's fusion. There's the Angelic Battle Mail rework, reimagine, whatever. There's a pet. So we've got 68, 70. Get those out of the way really quick here. '72, 74, and 75. 72, 74, and 75. Looks like a bit like a monkey to me. Roughly how long does it take to get the images such as the ones that are there now? With the tool that we use, you actually really kind of have to have a PC to do it. Because I don't think you can get the app really anywhere else. But the app, once you have the file, a few seconds. The original way, pulling it through a hex editor, was, depending on the size of the file, anywhere from 1.5 hours to 2.5 hours. Yeah, it just depends, really. I'm just gonna, oh, I think I've got the heads still left. Yeah, I've still got the heads left. So let me close that, start fresh. Now that I've moved my pets out of the way. That one is the air. And again, very reminiscent of the Avian Aegis. It has way too many similarities to not be based on that armor. There is the air-water raid armor at the top. There's the air water armor right below it. Yep. I'm going to come back to that in a second. Let me see if there's any more heads. I think I got it all, though. Yep, I did. Okay. So let's start back at the beginning. So first things first. There is... I'm going to guess that's the Chaotic Hellguard reskin. Or rework, rather. It's not even a reskin. I'm pretty sure that's that one. You don't rewind. It's live, dork. I am fairly certain it's this one. That it goes with this. It looks like the right color scheme. Kind of the design and everything matches up. It looks very similar to that right there, but I'm not going to call it quite yet. We'll keep looking. I'm going to go through them and see if I can find the one that looks like it belongs. So that's a ring. I don't think it goes with that one, though. Well, maybe it does. It has the same kind of jewel in the center of the thing. Maybe that one does. It does look very similar, and the color scheme looks similar enough. I may just actually have them right there back to back, pretty much. It does have the same sort of horns that the shield does. I'm just going to say for now that it is, because it looks too similar to me to not be. So 76 is the amulet. I think it was 79 is the ring. I'm just going to say it is for now. I can always fix it, of course, later. Unless, of course, I just messed myself up, which I may have just done. That may actually be the ring for it. I could be entirely wrong. Let me look. Here. Whoops, I went right past it again. Right there. Although the ring does not look especially air to me. That's weird, though. We actually had that this month we're in right now. Like the that armor, the earth and water armor. It has like the seasonal. Sorry, the seasonal. The blue clad demolisher has a ring that's very fire in looks, and it's not a fire armor at all. It's earth and water. But this one looks a lot like this, but not quite right to my eyes, because this has more kind of square and blocky shapes. This has more circles, like a big circle in the middle of it. That's throwing me off. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right. We'll come back to that one. Okay, now I'm getting confused. These rings look entirely too similar. That one is air and fire. I can say that one right now off the top of my head. 82 is the amulet for that puppy there. I'll just get that one out of my way right now. And there is a ring, or an amulet as well. Hang on. I could be wrong. Actually, no, that one's earth. Sorry. Never mind. Duh. That one goes with this guy right here. Yep, same sort of like, you know, the horns that have the little spirally lines that go around them. That one goes with that one. Never mind. Okay. Just scaring myself. Okay, so that's 83. Amulet for that one. Next up we have the air and water raid armor. That's a reskin, so that one's easy to spot. Looks exactly like the original armor, different colors. That's the ring. And right next to it, 85, is the amulet. So that one's done. That's easy. Okay. Then we have a ring. Looks very earth. Again. What is going on here? That is so bizarre. Why would they do that? I don't know why they do that. Has a very similar kind of earthy feel to it, just like this does. But that kind of looks off to me. Like it doesn't fit, but it does. Yeah, it has the same kind of lines and stuff along there, and yeah, I'm just gonna say it does, because I already have the amulet for it, so we'll just call that one the ring for it. It looks similar enough to my eyes. Maybe they're redesigning them so they're not as obvious which ones go with which. Could be. Okay, so there's a ring that has like bat wings on the sides of it almost. There's some definite similarity there. definite similarity. That might go with that one. I'm going to say it does for now. So that's 87. Okay, now we have another one. That one I think goes with our air and water fusion armor, I think. Or no, sorry, not that one. The one at the top. This one right here. I think that goes with this one. No, maybe not. Definitely not that one, because that's going to use the original set. It's not this one, because that's the raid armor. It might be this one, actually. The color's just, it seems too dark, though. This is much lighter in color. Seems too dark. Maybe it is that one I first looked at. It's entirely possible it is. I don't know. It does have the jewel in the middle of the shield. Actually, that might be the Chaotic Hellguard reworking. It kind of does fit with that better. A lot better. Yeah, that's it. That's got to be the right one. So I'm gonna take this one here, copy that. We're gonna rename this as image 85 just for now, because I know I don't have an 85 currently. So we're gonna call that one the Aaron. That's gonna be our Chaotic Hellguard. Okay, now we have one. Okay, that is an interesting design. I think it's this guy right here. Yeah, it looks just like the shoulder. Simple enough. That was easy. Surprisingly easy. Okay, now we have a shield. That one might be this one. Maybe. Maybe not. Does have the similar kind of spiky bits going over the hips there. Same sort of flares at the top of the shield too. Jewel in the center of the shield. That looks like it belongs to me. Let's see, 90. Oh, sorry, amulet. Derp. Okay. That one goes with the air and water I was just looking at. Looks just like the shield. Simple enough. I like it when they make it easy for me. I can go through this a little bit faster. Okay, there's that one. Alright, next up we have the Cyber Lance. That's what I was expecting to see, which is this one here. Yes. Okay, so that's the Cyber Lance ring. Looks just like the original. And was also used in the, was it a War Armor, I think it was? Recently, that had the Cyber Lance body, but a different head. Anyway, can't think of the name of the armor. So that's the ring for that one. And there's the amulet. Simple enough. 93. Okay, so we are done with that, so I had to go back and figure out where these guys go now. Okay, so we have an amulet there. No, that looks too Earth to me. Definitely not that one. Might be our raid armor. I totally forgot about the raid armor. I didn't even look at it. Duh. Does have kind of the horns. Similar kind of look and feel there. Yeah, I think that's actually the, this goes with this guy, I'm pretty sure. Looks very similar. Actually looks just like the shield. I'm blind as a bat. Okay, that's that one. I forgot all about the raid armor. The air and earth raid armor. I don't know how I missed that. That's the amulet for that puppy. Okay, next up we have a ring I completely bypassed. That actually goes with this guy here at the top. This does not go here at all. Let's actually just copy. We're going to rename this as image 77 since I just renamed image 77. That one's going to be our ring for the angelic battle mail. Looks just like that. Fits nicely for me, to my eyes. Okay, so 77 is probably going to be the raid armor. The one I just renamed as 77. Oh, maybe not. We'll look at it though. Maybe not. No, that's all the wrong colors. All the wrong design. Definitely not that one, but I have other armors I can put it with. Nope, not that one either. All the wrong shapes, all the wrong design. That one I'm pretty sure I already got. Cyberlance, I already know that one's good. I'm saying Cyberlance because it's a reskin. No, wrong color scheme. Pretty sure. It could be this one actually, now that I look at it, because it has these nice like feathery bits coming off the back of the head. Or the back, behind the head rather. This nice big jewel in the middle of the head. Yep, I think that one goes with our exclusive. Looks, I didn't even think about that. That's probably where that one goes. That's probably the ring for our exclusive. Alright. Now we got to figure out the last three. Those three right there. Okay, so this one, let me look at the raid. Let me look at the raid armor. That's the one I need a ring for. Could be that one right there. Although it doesn't really look distinctly air to me. It looks like color scheme's wrong. It does look similar enough in some respects, but it has these like sharp, jagged points to it. I think that one may actually be the Chaotic Hellguard. I may have actually been in the right place there on that one in the first place. Yeah, I think it does go with this one. The colors are way too similar. And it has the same kind of spikes that come off the top of the shield right there and there, and then you've got the two right here and there. I'm going to have to go back on my decision on that one. I'm thinking that this one here does not belong. So we're going to rename this one as Image 77 again, just to put it back at the bottom. And we're going to rename this one instead. I'm thinking that one does go with that armor. Okay. Now I have an amulet. Not yeah. Welcome. Alright. That one I really don't know. I mean, it's got a lot of similarities to the one I just literally renamed. Let me look at that one again. So I've got the Air and Earth ring I'm still missing. The Air and Water ring I'm still missing. This one right here. Let me go back. Hang on. That one may actually go with this one, now that I look at it. It does have some similarities. But still not quite enough. It just doesn't look quite right to me. But again, the dual Earth that we have for the current month, that ring or that amulet looks all wrong. The ring looks okay. Your amulet looks all wrong. Like it doesn't belong with it at all. There's not a single like that stone face anywhere on that armor. So I don't know where that came from, that design. That one just does not seem to fit. That one I'm pretty sure I already got. Yeah, I did get that one already. Yeah, that one's good. Okay. Oh, I already know the Cyberlance is fine. And that one I'm pretty sure I already got correct. I think we're good on the dual air. This does not look like that at all. I already verified those two match up pretty well. Yeah, I already verified the ring on that one matches. Okay, this is really confusing to me. So, I'm only missing the ring on this one. And that does not look like it belongs at all. I mean, it doesn't even have a similar kind of shape. Like, the weapon, I suppose, I mean, it has those like kind of spiky bits, but this doesn't have a similar design to this armor at all. And then I've got the Air and Water. Is it this one? No, I got that one. It's this one I'm missing the ring for. Yeah, this one here I don't have a ring for. It looks like it in some ways. Like it has some of the similar kind of colors, but maybe it's based on the weapon. I don't know. It's a cool looking weapon, by the way. I'm going to say for now it goes with this one because without, for lack of a better option, I'm just going to say it goes with that one. So image 80, ring, and then I need an amulet for it, which is, I'm assuming, that one, because I don't really have any other options. What was it now? Which one was it now? I'm totally drawing a blank. Air water at the top. Yeah, this one right here. Nope, sorry. Wrong one. One right below it. That's the one I wanted. Okay. Let me open back up the mail because it's a little easier to see. So, this doesn't look really a whole lot like this armor. I'm thinking again that the Chaotic Hellguard may actually have the wrong amulet still. That does have some similarities to the shield too, though. I don't know. That's a tough one. That looks a bit too watery to me, though. So maybe that one actually is. Let's just rename this one. I'm going to switch them. Again, for lack of a better option. I'm just going to switch them. And I'm going to change 85 to be that one instead. And then my air and water that's missing an amulet, which is this one here, I believe. Yep, I'm just going to say it goes with that one. Not this one, sorry, the one I just renamed. That one right there. Looks a little too watery to me. To be spirit, of course. Okay, now we have one more ring, which is really the only one I have left, is this guy here. Which I guess it does have some similarities. I mean, if you look at the design of the armor, it does have the same kind of blades and things. Oh, I just realized that right there. That's not the dual. This is the dual air. Dual air. I just realized it. I just saw the design. I don't know how I missed that. So this one here, if you look at that design right there, and you compare it to that design right there, it's flipped upside down, but that's the same design. So this is the air and earth ring right here. There we go. And then the one that I didn't have before, which is this one, is the dual air. And ta-da! Alright, cool, got it. Alright, so now we finally have our crafting materials. So the first one we have looks like a kind of like an ice shard and roller skates. Not particularly air to me, more ice and water, but whatever. There's our crafting materials. So which one's which, I don't know, but we're moving on. So now we're going to take cape, pet, amulet, head, ring, amulet, head, ring, blah, blah, blah. The usual rigmarole. And move all these to my other folder where I have all the rest of the stuff. We'll go a copy, and we'll go a paste. There we go. Okay, now let me grab the bosses really fast. Boss 1 and 2. Oops, wrong folder. Into there. There we are. Okay, now we can start putting those armors together. So male, 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 and male. I put those in the same folder as where the armors will eventually be because I want to kind of have the option to compare the two side by side. Oh, I forgot to rename the pets. No, that's fine, I'll do it in a minute. Forgot to rename them tier 1 through 5, but that's fine. Not that big of a deal. I had originally heard that this file wasn't complete from the Deca folks because this is a lot later in the month than normal. Usually the files are available by the 10th-ish at the latest, and it's the 17th, so it's a full week late. But I don't know if there was like a delay with the art team or whatever, but the guy that was talking to about it said the files should be there now. And I checked and they weren't. And I'm like, did you put them in a different place? Is it like, have you changed things up on me? Or he's like, no, everything should be the same. And so I just kept refreshing the page about every 20 minutes and then it popped up. So, and I say page because it is a publicly available site. So if you know the address, you can get the files yourselves. It's not that hard to find them. Okay, So armor number 1, armor number 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm putting them back in order so I can put them together a little easier. Put them back in the order they were when I put them together. Okay, so I do like the look of this armor. I like the Chaotic Hellguard kind of more because it's like one of my favorite armors, period. But I do like the look of this one as well. This is one of the 2 raid armors. And this one does have a very cool, unique look to it. So I just generally like this armor all the way around. Good look to it. I like it. Get that up just, let's see here. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Okay. Yep, I do like the look of that armor. Spikes for days. Gotta move that down just a hair. There we go. Okay, so there's that armor. Let me get the shield here pulled up. So that's what armor looks like with nothing else added to it. And then we have this shield that covers up, unfortunately, a good chunk of that arm. So where's the hand? There we go, right about here. Then we have this massive, like, spiked, like, piece of wood, looks like to me. Like these blades coming off the side of it. Pretty gnarly looking mace. Okay, that can go right about here. Blend in that wrist a bit. A lot of blending on that one. There we go. And you can ignore the beep 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 sounds. That's just my notifications on the line going off. If you can even hear that, you might not even be able to hear it. Not sure how good my microphone is in that respect. There we go. There's that armor. That's a cool looking armor. I like that one. I like it a lot. Okay. How wide are we here? 265. Yeah, it's pretty square, actually. Let's do 270 just to be safe. No, actually, no, I don't need to do that. I can do 265. Cool. Pretty square, actually. Yeah, we can go back to, I'm already in the right folder. Sweet. Okay, armor 1. Alright. Check your PMs. I'm busy. If that actually is you PMing me, Gabe, you're going to have to wait. I don't think it really is, but if it is, you have to wait. There we go. Still looks funky to me with that massive, like, jutting chin like that, like a bird beak almost coming out of there. It bugged me on the original armor too. They have, I think, restyled the bottom of this armor though somewhat, unless I'm remembering wrong. That looks different to me than the original. But again, maybe I'm remembering wrong. I do have the armor on a couple of accounts, but I don't remember if that was the original design or not. I think it might have been, but it doesn't look familiar. And this armor does not have a distinctively water look to it so much as air. Very clearly air, but the water is just kind of a hints here and there, which I think is probably intentional. I do like the look of it though. I like the original armor too. Excuse me. Okay, and there's that armor and the shield that covers up, unfortunately, most of that side. Massive shield. And then we have the weapon. It's a massive, like, fork-shaped looking thing. Right about there. And the other end of the weapon. Sorry, I think you have a lot more belief in my ability to control anything that Deca does. A lot more faith in it than I do. A lot more faith in it than reality. Because I definitely have no control over that at all. Oh, what the hell, computer? What are you doing? All of a sudden it started lagging hard. And it's Doro, by the way, not Dioro. What did you miss? Oh, not much. Just putting armors together. So far, anyway. Oh, you've been gone for the last 20? Oh, just me finishing up assembly. Or finishing up sorting everything. Okay, so that's 270 by... Yeah, let's do that one's pretty square, too. Nice. Makes it easy. Number 2, air, water. Okay. This one, I have a feeling, is going to be huge. Just a massive armor. No, height-wise, I mean, not width-wise so much. But Gabe, you'll get to see the pets here in just a minute when I get to that point. Now, this is actually something I noticed. This is something that was commonplace in the older armors. Like this bit right here. That is extra. It's like a bleed over. It's something that I haven't seen in a long time. Like, I don't know what that's why that's there. Like, if I go here and I add in the body now, you'll see the same kind of bleed over right there on the edge of the hand, and the same. This doesn't matter because it's going to be covered with the arm anyway. But this bit right here, I mean, I'll put it. Let me put it in here in place so you can kind of see it. But if I zoom in right there, there's the same bleed over. Like, it's just like this extra little bit that doesn't need to be there. That'd probably mostly be covered by the other hand too, but this just is something that I saw on the older armors. When I first started really doing this, I was actually looking for images for the wiki in particular. That happened all the time with the older armors because they weren't really as concerned. I don't put the pets together, Gabe. I never do. And no, I can't. All I have is images, dude. That's all I've ever gotten. But anyway, the older armors, they had those kind of bleed over effects, like on the edges of the things. I don't know why. Like the older armors, like I guess it just wasn't as big of a deal. But with the newer armors, this is the first time I've seen this in a long time. Put a shield from one of the armors on it. No, Gabe. Doesn't work that way. Sorry. I think it's highly unlikely it's going to be a Shatter Shield pet. It's possible it could be. There's always that possibility. But I think it's extremely unlikely. What are they paying me for? They don't pay me anything, dude. They never have. This is unfortunately a hobby, a part-time hobby that turned into a part-time job that is sadly unpaid. Okay, where's that hand? There it is. That's a massive shield too. Okay, where's that hand? There it is. Okay. This is a humongous weapon as well. Which, I mean, I'm all for, you know, humongous weapons and humongous shields and everything, but when one overlaps the other, it kind of messes with your ability to make things look pretty. I mean, not that I made them look pretty per se, but... Ah, there's my man right there. That is Legion. Looks like he may have finished. Now, everyone may already know this, but Legion, who's been in a few of my live stream chats before now, and of course I'm sure he's watched several, and chats all the time in it, is also doing the Datamine. And this month he asked if he could do his, roughly at the same time I'm doing mine, but for the iOS folks. And I told him to go ahead and do it. So he may have just finished his, because he started his about an hour before mine. just because I didn't have the time to do it right when he started his. So, computer's doing it again. It's lagging. I may need to look into getting some more RAM for this puppy. It's starting to get long in the tooth. For those of you who don't know that expression, it just means it's getting old. Oh, he's hosting me. Sweet. Thanks, dude. If only you could take a shell from the Knights. Yeah, that would be nice. 275. That's actually a really tall armor. I haven't had an armor that tall in ages. Welcome, Legion. For those of you who don't know, KCOW is Legion. He's one of the iOS folks. He's you're still in touch, I think, aren't you? I think he is. But he's in one of the biggest alliance on iOS global. All right. So that's that. Let me save that one. Armor 3. I didn't capitalize the O on that one. It's going to bug me. I have to fix it right now before I move on, because it's going to bug me if I don't. I don't know why I do that. It's just every once in a while I get Evo 2 instead of Evo 2. Okay, moving on. Does your air pet come with shatter on it? His air pet's the same air pet I have, Gabe. Criminy, man. Oops, I did not want to do that. I wanted to do that and then that. Ah, what are you doing? Stop that. There we go. Yeah, they don't give that ability. Sorry, man. Just images is all I ever get. I get some details about things a little bit ahead of time, but not so much that it would really be much of a benefit to anybody. And, oops, copy. And truthfully, it's the information that I do get ahead of time, I'm not supposed to share with anybody anyway, and so I don't. So, just because that's kind of one of the agreements of being in the Sages chat is that if you're in that chat, you're not supposed to share anything there ahead of time, unless it's something that they've specifically said, please share this amongst the players. You know, like, this is an upcoming update or whatever, things of that nature. So, if they tell us that kind of thing, then of course I'm gonna mention it to people. But oh crap, I'm on the wrong layer. That's the layer I wanted. I wanted to kind of trim that up a little bit. It looks a little funky. There we go. Gabe, I think I've said it before. I'll say it again. You, sir, are a dork. Yeah, it really is. Unfortunately, they have gotten substantially better though in recent memory. The last Airfire seasonal we had was actually fairly decent. It was like 1100, I think, HP. And not great by any means, nothing compared to Earth or Spirit armors, but still for an air and fire, it was not bad, all in all. I'm not sure if you can see this or not while I'm doing this, but my computer is lagging severely right at the moment. Like really, really bad. I move the mouse and it's like really, really slow. So, and if I'm stuttering a lot or if I'm looking like I'm jumping around, then it's probably just me. They didn't do it again because of the complaints. Now they don't do like air and fire are just, they're glass cannons. That's just the way it is. They're not as bad as fire and fire or air and air. Well, air and airs usually aren't as bad. But they're still not going to be like spectacular armors. That's just not the way air fires are. They're great for speed lineups, and they're actually really good for arena for the most part because they usually have really high attack. But they're not really, you know, all that useful otherwise. Okay, there's the air and earth. Air and earth number 2, I should say. Because the first one was our raid armor. let's see here, what do we have? Got 290. Yep, that one's pretty normal. Really wide, but not as tall. Okay, I didn't actually want to do that. Okay, so now we have the Cyberlance reskin. This is a regular run-of-the-mill reskin, just the same armor recolored. So this one looks identical to the original in every way. Whoops, don't do that. There we go. Any special event armors? No, not this month. November, there is just the regular, actually wait, hang on, let me look at my calendar. So this weekend we have a war, then we have a raid on the 25th, excuse me. Then we have a war on the 1st, 15th, and 29th. So we should have 3 wars. So I think this is incomplete. Now that I look back on it, we actually might be missing an armor. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. I think it might be, we might be missing an armor because there should be 10 in total. 3 wars, 2 raids, fusion, and then 4 seasonals. Well, 3 seasonals and exclusive. So it looks like we're missing an armor. So I will have to update this later. Whoops, I don't know why I did that. I don't need that yet. I need the arm first. Duh. Okay, let's try this again, shall we? With this time with less fail. There we go. Now we can do the shield. So there's that armor, which again is the same as the original. Different color scheme, of course. I don't think so. With it being on the 29th and there being nothing on the calendar for the current month, the 29th should still be part of next month. I don't think they'll push it out. I have been wrong, of course. Don't take that as gospel, but I'm pretty sure it'll be part of next month. I'm thinking we're just missing an armor. And I will mention that to Deca in the morning when I get to work, because that's usually at the tail end of their day when I start my day, which is about 7 a.m. my time. They're usually just about finished with theirs. They have about maybe an hour left of a regular work day. Ooh, yep, computer's lagging again. Ooh boy. Ooh boy, that's bad. Lagging hard. Looks like my next investment's definitely going to be some RAM. Because this thing only has 8 gigs in it. I've been using this thing since the start. I've had this computer for 6 years, something like that, and it wasn't new when I got it. It was a refurbished model that I got for an old job that I don't have anymore. And I just continue using it as my personal laptop. Oops, 295, 295. Okay. Get that kind of in the middle there. About down. Okay. I don't want to save that. Okay, so back to here. We got 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now we get to do my favorite armor in the files this month, which is this one, the Chaotic Hellguard rework, restyle, reimagine, whatever. Hey, welcome, Awesome Time. You did make it. What's the story behind that? That's actually a long story. So I've actually had the email address, same email address, since 2007, I think. So originally, I need to move that. There Originally, what had happened is some friends of mine. This is many years ago, around that same time frame. A bunch of friends of mine who were far more musically inclined than I am decided that they wanted to kind of put a band together that was kind of synth poppy, dark wavy, industrial-ish, kind of in that sort of electronic vein, with a little bit of a kind of a goth industrial, mood to it. They came up with the name. I kind of came up with part of the name, and then they came up with kind of the other part of the name. And I was actually going to be the vocalist for said band, and that was the first initial of the first word, and then the rest of it. So it's M, Nebula. So it's M is the first initial, and then Nebula is the rest of it. So it's actually the name of the band. And I just kind of I created the email address just in case anything ever went of it. Nothing ever did, but I created the name, and it just kind of stayed with me, and I've kept it ever since. I've used that name on all sorts of places. I had it on my Gmail account. I had it on YouTube. My YouTube, obviously. Created my Twitch channel. Used the same thing. I even have a Yahoo address from years and years ago that uses the same one. So it's just that's where the name came from. So it's the first initial and the rest of the name of the band. And if you're curious what that is, the first word is meridian. So, like for example, the prime meridian, which is kind of the center point of where time starts and stops from, where GMT is the prime meridian. Do I have any of my music to play? No, but you can look it up on SoundCloud. Just look it up, SoundCloud, and look for the same name. It's there too. So SoundCloud and M Nebula, same thing. Where's that handle? There it is. And I warn you, some of it is very old. Actually, most of it's very old. I think the last I wrote was, I would guess to say probably in the neighborhood of probably 2007-ish was the last time I wrote anything new. And all the music that's up there is entirely me. There's only one song on there that a friend of mine helped me kind of finish it up, because I had the sound of it more or less down where I liked it, but he helped me kind of clean up the sound a little bit and add in a few little bits that seemed missing to his ears. So, yeah. Blando. That's what I prefer. Thought I was just cracked and slapped my keyboard. Nope. Yeah, but it's old music. It's music I wrote a long time ago when I had a very different frame of mind. I'd just gone through a really bad breakup and divorce. I was mentally just not in a very good place. So most of my music had a very kind of dark edge to it. Lyrics were very angry and frankly depressed. There's a couple of songs that I've written since then that were much more lighthearted and mellow, but I haven't really written anything in 10 plus years, almost 10 years. Okay, so this is my favorite armor by far. Let me actually pull this back up again before I forget. I wanted to again show this for comparison so people can see it. Where are we at? There it is. So if I put this up here and I put that right there, you can't tell me there aren't similarities. Like if you look at the head, it's very similar. The head there, the head there. Even the shoulders are very similar. The shield, of course, is very different. The weapon has the same sort of piece here that comes around the hand. It's a spiral here instead of just being more of a standard sword look, but it does kind of, it's very similar. It's obviously based on that armor. At least to my eyes. I'm sure other people might agree, but it's obviously based on that armor. So, anyway, let me get that out of the way now. Okay, so this is our Aaron Aaron Spirit. That's armor number 6. I'm in the wrong window, apparently. There we are. It's like, why was my save not saving? Because I'm a derp. You have to reconnect your brain before you expect your brain to actually work. Alright, anyway. Reconnect brain, retry. Sorry, I've been having a week. I'm actually going on vacation in a few days, and so I knew if I didn't do this tonight, I wasn't going to be able to do it at all. Because I have way too much going on tomorrow night, and then I've also got a lot of the Armor of the Peacock. No, definitely not. I've got way too much going on tomorrow night. I'm going to be packing to actually go on the trip, so I would not have the time to do it tomorrow at all. Actually, it's got some bleed over right there too again. I hate that. That does not look good to me. A little bit of bleed over like some of the older armors used to have. Much better. And again, this is very obviously based on the Avian Aegis. It just looks way too much like it. Weapon, of course, and shield are very different, but it's very clearly based on the Avian Aegis. Nothing wrong with last-minute packing. Well, yeah, I don't know if I agree with that. I prefer to get it done ahead of time and not have to worry about it when I get up. And that way, if I oversleep a little bit, not a big deal. Not like we're on like a big time crunch. We're driving from where I live in northern Utah down to Las Vegas, so it's really not that long of a drive. But I'm going with my grandkids, and they have not really been on a long drive like that. So we're going to have to stop several times on the way just to kind of give them a break to move around a bit and not be in the cramped car in their car seats for that long. So we're going to be stopping several times on the way. There's some of that bleed over again on the side of that shield. On both sides of that shield, actually. And on the bottom. Holy crap. I haven't seen this kind of bleed over in a long time. So there's that armor there, really quick before I do this. I've actually already done the Air Earth. This is the exclusive right here. And there we go. Okay, that looks much better. Okay, put this over here, right about like here. Okay. And I have to say, I kind of like the look of this armor, and I just realized that design. I hope I got that right. I just realized I just looked at that design and went, wait a minute, I've seen that before. I know that design. Computer's lagging again. Apologies if you can see that and I'm jerking around. Apparently either my internet or my computer is just not liking this. I'm not sure what it is. I think it might be my internet. Lagging pretty hard. Okay. Yeah, this is very clearly, like I said, based on the Avian Aegis. It was originally a single mono air armor. It was a raid armor from many, many moons ago. And then they reskinned it dual air, called the Rockstorm Downplate. And it was dual air, but it was basically the exact same armor, just recolored, where it was much more white and gold sort of looking. But this armor is very, very clearly based on that armor. And let me resize this really quick before I move on. So if I move this kind of back into the center of the page here again, and go back to here, where's it at? There it is. So if I look at that, and look at that, the head very clearly based in the same sort of vein. There we go. So you got to see them side by side. The head is very clearly based on that. The armor has a lot of similarities, but it's not the same, of course. There is a similar kind of thing here, but these spikes kind of go down, these go up. But again, very clearly based on the same sort of design. Even the cape that kind of goes around the sides of the legs is the same. Like, it's the same exact cape, just recolored. So this is the exclusive. That's 7, I think? Yeah. So yeah, this is we're missing armors. We're missing an armor at least. So unless they decide to move that November 29th event into part of December, there we go, we're missing an armor. We should have one more, because we only have 9 in the files and there should be 10 if they keep that 29th war as part of November's events. and I can't say off the top of my head if they will or they won't, so I'll just say I don't know, because I don't. I gotta say I like the look of this. I like the look of this armor too. The Star Metal armor, it's possible. I know that they do want to bring that into the game, but the last I heard is that there's some functionality in the game that they kind of want to get working properly first. I'm not sure what that means. I just know that there's some functionality in the game that they want to get working properly first before they bring that in. We've been batting around some ideas to a certain extent, just kind of saying, hey, this would be cool, that would be cool. But I don't know that they've actually made a firm decision on exactly what that event's going to entail. It's going to be some kind of event, I just don't know what. I don't really have any details, unfortunately, to say, oh, it's going to be like this, or it's going to be like that, or it's going to involve this. I truthfully don't know anything. So if you see something posted on Reddit about the event coming, you'll probably know a few hours before I do, at the most. Or sorry, a few hours after I do, sorry. Meaning I might hear about it a few hours before it actually gets announced, but that's like the most notice I usually get. And that's just, again, because we're in the Sages chat with the DECA staff, so we sometimes get a little bit of a heads up ahead of time. Sometimes not. It just depends on what it is. There we go. Okay, we have one more armor left, and then we can start putting the sheet together. Okay, so let's get this lined up there. That's what I figured. About 300. A lot of these armors are really wide, but thankfully not all of them. Okay, there's that one. That's armor 8. Okay, and the last one, which is the Angelic Battle Mail based one. And again, I say Angelic Battle Mail because the head just looks way too similar to me to not be that one. But back on the question about the Star Metal, if they don't get the issue, again, I don't know what that issue is, but if they don't get that issue figured out before the end of this month, it might be part of December or November's events. I don't know. But with it being like, with Halloween creeping up on us pretty quickly here, I don't think they're going to stack it directly on top. Like, I don't think they'll do the two events like with each other. They may start it like November. I don't know. That's all guesswork on my part. I truthfully don't know. This one has the bleed over on the leg, like, or on the sides of the cape bit coming down here, the bottoms of the legs. There's all sorts of bleed over on that one. It's been a while since I've seen this kind of graphical glitchiness. It's not really that big of a deal. I mean, you can easily remedy it. Like, I just zoom in here and then I go, whoop. And then you can barely even tell it was there. But it's just weird that it's like so much of it in these files. And it may be because this was just a rough first pass on these new ones. I don't know, because it seemed like it was only on these like reimagined armors somewhat. So I've got to go back to layer 3 for that. Oh, what are you doing? Layer 3. Why are you not erasing? I'm in the wrong layer. Duh. No, I'm not. Okay, now I'm really, really confused. What the hell is going on, computer? There we go. Weird. It's possessed. My computer's possessed. Okay, there we go. No. We don't have any details on why there are two. Until we get details on the event itself, we won't have any idea. My assumption is that one of them is going to be a better version. Presumably the one that's kind of has more of a goldish look to it is going to be the better version. Actually, Doc actually has some details. He actually has more details than I do. He actually has talked with the DECA staff regarding that event specifically so he can cover it on his channel, but I don't think he's allowed to give much detail. So, kind of the whole no spoilers thing, I don't think he's allowed to say. Could be wrong, but I don't think he is. That's a weird effect right there. That should be not even be there. How weird. Okay. Strange. And there's that bleed over again. Bottom of the hand. Weird. I'm not saying, I do not like that. Hang on a second. I think I may have moved that hand. Let me move it here. Did I not move it into place? Oh no, I was down too low. Oops. There we go. That's better. And I'm lagging again. So apologies again if you can see that kind of lagginess that's coming through there. I don't know what's going on. I move my mouse and it's like a half second behind when I actually moved it. I'm just going to leave that as it is. I'm not going to mess with that. My computer's lagging so hard I'm not really sure of where my mouse is actually moving. But only for whatever reason I zoom in and it just freaks out on me. And then that works just fine. Go figure. Okay. Alright. Can you make them really obvious Easter eggs? I'm sure he's probably not going to be allowed to give out that much detail this far ahead of time. Because, I mean, granted, today is the 17th. It's still 2 weeks from Halloween. So, I'm sure he has details he's not allowed to share, but he can probably give some details, but I don't know how much he's really allowed to say, to be honest. I mean, again, he knows more at this point than I do. Which is cool, by the way, Doc. I think that's really cool. Armor 9, air fire. It's the only air fire in the file, so therefore that is one of our seasonals. Okay, let's go back to my other folder here. Look at my last one. That has... yeah, that's 12 armors on it. I don't need that much room. Let me see here. So let's go to... let's compare it to that one in size. Yeah, that's better. That's a better one to compare size-wise. Okay, so that one is 1550 by 1300. That'll work for now. There we go. Okay. So now we can go here like that, I think. Actually, no. Is that right? No, I think I had it right in the first place. Okay. Let's start moving armors around here. Okay, so now we have... let me look at my dual air really quick here. Amulet. Ring. Okay, I think I may have actually gotten this one wrong, because that shape right there I've seen one of the other rings. I think that ring might be wrong. Let me look here really fast. That one right there. That shape, I am pretty sure, matches up with that shape right there. Or at least it looks very similar anyway. Move this over. It does look very, very similar. So I'm thinking that actually the ring that goes with the exclusive and not the one I have labeled as the exclusive one. So I'm going to swap them, because I'm pretty sure that goes with this. Because it looks exactly like that, just 180 degrees the other way. So if you flip this upside down, exactly opposite, that would be the same shape. A little bit more spaced out here, of course, but it has a very similar look and feel to it. So I am going to quickly rename that one. So this one here, copy that. We're going to change this one to... oh hell, which one was it now? That one right there. So we're going to rename this one as that. Oops. Then we're going to rename that one that I just renamed. Where'd it go? Right there. So this one I'm going to rename as the armor. That was armor 3, I believe. Yeah. There we go. I can rename that one now back to the way it was. Okay, so now if I close this, go back to here again, we have the air amulet, head, armor, ring. Does not look especially air to me, but that's happened before. It happened this month. So anyway, let's start off here. So let's go to armor number 1, which is our air and earth, and that's going to go right over the line. I don't want that to happen. Let's do that instead. Still going over the line. There we go. That's behind the line. There we go. Okay, sorry. I'm having one of those days again where I'm not getting things to line up like I want. Brain cramp. Okay. A big thanks to me. I don't know about that. They've seen your channel. They obviously know who you are. I mean, there's not really anybody else that does what you do. So, obviously, people are going to know who you are. Okay, there's the air and earth. One of the 2 air and earths. And I may have to... Oh, actually, no. I think I'm going to be good. First few armors are not that wide, so I may actually be able to shorten this up. I may not have to have it as wide as I normally do. Oh, are you talking about this one right here, the elemental spawn reskin? It's the second one on the top row. Because that's a reskin of, like I said, the elemental spawn reskin. It was a raid armor from right before when they switched to renaming the armors to the top leaderboard scorer. It was one of the last 2 or 3, I think. Because we had the elemental spawn, and then we had mithril depths, which was around the same time frame. It was water fire followed by fire water the next month. Very similar in terms of stats. The fire water was just a little bit more attack heavy, of course, unsurprising. But this one was the water fire, and the mithril depths was the fire water, if memory serves. But yeah, that's the elemental spawn. Same armor, recolored. So for those of you who may not have been here from the beginning, like Awesome Time, I know you just joined in. Yeah, I do too, actually. I like the look of it a lot better. So this one is, we have only 2 actual reskins this month. So there's this one here, which is the elemental spawn, and then we have the one at the same row at the end, which is the Cyber Lance. They're just regular reskins, exactly the same armor in every way, just color changes. Then we have a brand new Air Earth on the first one. I believe a brand new Air Water in the middle here. A definitely brand new Air and Earth on the right. Allegiance says that this one here looks similar to him. The only thing it looks similar to is this month's Earth and Air, which is, I believe, a fusion armor toward the end of the month. I don't see similarities to any other armor, but that's just me. And then we have 3 reimaginings, if you will. Not really reskins because they're not the same armor, but they look very similar. Like this one is the Chaotic Hellguard, which is an epic, I believe it was Spirit Water. It was either Spirit Water or Water Spirit anyway. And the Cyber Lance, I think I like it better in that color scheme too. I agree. Oops, I'm in the wrong window. There we go. And then we have this one, which is the exclusive, which is the Avian Aegis, which is a Dragon Forged armor. That's a reimagining of that one as well. Because the original had the same head, very similar cape, and very similar armor. Not exactly the same. Very different weapon and shield, though. So it's a reimagining of the armor. And then we have this one, which is a new one, another new one, which is Air and Water. I'm assuming this one here is probably going to be our fusion. Not positive, but just an assumption at this point. And then we have our last one, which is the Angelic Battle Mail reimagined, which again is just what I see it as. I may be wrong on that, but that's what it looks like to me. Angelic Battle Mail, the head just looks way too similar. And again, these are just my observations. Your mileage may vary. But let me now start getting these rings and amulets on here really quick before I move on. Yeah, it's cool. I like it too. So let me get this done here really quick. Actually, let me do another layer here so I can keep them on their own separate layers. So I can put it right on the top of it and it doesn't affect it. Okay. Amulet. Ring. And that's, again, I did not realize that ring right off the bat. That shape right there is identical to that shape right there, and I just didn't see it for the longest time. Then the ring and amulet, of course, for this guy are the same as the original, just recolored. Whoops, don't do that. Do not want to make a copy of the dumb thing. There we go. So again, ring and amulet set's exactly the same as the original, just recolored. Now this one, I am not 100% sure on. I really don't know if this actually goes with this, but it looks to me like it does. It has very similar kind of, you know, watery look to it. Like it looks similar to in some respects to the blade. I don't know. This one I'm not really sure about. This month was kind of hard. This, again, the ring I'm not really sure about either, but it seems like it fits. I can't guarantee it does. It just looks similar enough to my eyes. Now this one I'm pretty sure on, the air and earth over here. Pretty sure this one's right, because it does have a very similar kind of horn, like you can see here on the shield. Got those kind of rings around the horn there. It looks just like the same. So I'm pretty sure that one's good as is. Let me move that one. Actually, I want to move these two down just a titch, because they're a little bit high. There we go. And then the ring. This one here. It does look like it belongs. Again, it's the same kind of color scheme. It has the horns. It looks like it fits. It's the only one that really it makes sense with, to be honest. And then we have this one here, which is again the same ring and amulet set like it was before with the elemental spawn. It's just been recolored. And my alt tab is lagging. Why are you doing that to me, computer? Same ring and amulet set as the original. And this was, again, reused just recently. I mentioned this earlier on in the stream. For a recent war armor we had that had the same armor, same ring, different head, and I think it was the Decatron head and the Decatron amulet. Well, not exactly the same as the head, but very similar anyway. It was a war armor we just had recently. Now this one I am, again, not 100% sure on. I'm not positive this is the right one. Did I put that on the wrong one? Hang on. Let me move him back out here. No, I did. Okay. Just want to make sure I hadn't grabbed the wrong armor here. So this one, I am not 100% positive this is the right set that goes with this one. It looks right to me, but I could be wrong. So it looks like it fits. It has a very similar kind of color scheme and you know, that sort of thing. So anyway, it's either this one goes here or it goes there. One of these two. I'm not sure which. The ring, though, does definitely kind of more fit the color scheme here, and this ring does kind of fit the more color scheme of here. It's a toss-up. I really don't know on that set. This one, on the other hand, I'm pretty positive about. There we go. So the amulet, it really looks like an air amulet. So I'm going to assume it goes with this one. I could be wrong again. I don't think I am. Let me look at these just to be sure. No, it's got to go with that one. It's the only one that really has an air look to it. All the rest of them have colors. The amulets seem to never change, though. So let me rename that there really quick. And apparently my rename I undid. And then this shape right here, again, this ring doesn't look distinctly air, excuse me, but this matches that design right there. So if you flip it 180 degrees, that design looks just like that. So anyway, moving on. This one, again, I'm also pretty sure about this. I know the ring, or I know the amulet matches, because that matches the shield perfectly. Just colored red, or colored water, instead of being the color it is. And then the shoulder looks just like the shoulder, but inverted. So again, 180 degrees. Flipped around the other way. Goes just like that. So this is flip-flopped, looks just like that. Okay, and last but not least, this one here. Again, I'm pretty sure this one's correct as well. Can't guarantee it. Yeah, that's what I'm not really sure about. Those two rings on those two last armors, I really don't know. So this one I'm pretty sure goes with this. It just looks like it fits right there because it has the same kind of wings and things on it that this does. So I'm pretty sure I'm good on that one. But I think these rings here, I'm just really not sure about. This one and this one. I really don't know. This one looks to me like the color scheme matches between the two. This one does not match this color scheme. That's kind of what I'm going off of. That's why I think this one goes with this one, and this one goes with this one. The reason being, again, is because this one doesn't really fit any of the armors that I can see. The amulets, again, they could be swapped, but this one looks distinctly more water to my eyes, and this one looks a bit more Spirit. It's the only reason why I put them where they are, because they just don't really seem to go anywhere else. So, for lack of a better option, that's just what I'm going with. So I'm pretty sure all the rest of it's good though otherwise. So there's my sheet. I can probably shorten this up, but I'm glad that I didn't have a 10th armor here. I may have to move this around when I get the 10th armor, because Spirit, Air, and Air rings should be flipped. You're talking about this one up here? You're talking about the Air Water on the top? Because this is Air Water on the top row, not Air Spirit. Because this one here, like if you look at that design right there, if you flip it 180 degrees the other way, so take it and flip it all the way around, this design, this kind of pointy bit here, looks just like that. Second row, 1 and 2. Yeah. You might be right, but that ring looks just like that, and it's rare that they put a design in there that doesn't look like, it looks like an armor rather, that doesn't belong with that armor. So it's possible that they need to be swapped, but it doesn't look like this color here does not look like it belongs really with that armor at all. It doesn't look anything like it. This one, the color scheme, again, if you look at just the colors there and you kind of compare it to the colors here, they look very similar. They also look very similar to this one. Don't get me wrong, I see what you're talking about, but that design right there in particular is what grabs my eyes. So that shape, you got that ball in the middle, and then the the belt? Oh, hang on. That design right there. Hang on. Yeah, I see what you're talking about. That right there does look like that right there. Actually, all the armors that are in here have a matching ring and amulet set. Or at least they look like they do to me. Unless one of the rings and amulet sets in this belongs with the armor that's missing, and one of the reimagined ones doesn't. Maybe it's missing one of each, meaning there's an armor missing and a ring and amulet set missing from one of the armors that's here. So it's also a possibility. I don't know. But that ring, let me zoom in here again. Kind of has that wingy bit there on the side. It does have some similarities, yeah. I don't know. This is a tough one. I'm going to leave it as it is for now. I may change back. Yeah, that's actually a very good spot. I didn't see that either. But it's hard to say because, again, the color scheme of this one does look kind of like both. It really kind of does. This one here, I don't know. I mean, this doesn't really fit with any of the armors that are up here. So it's entirely possible that one of the armor that's missing, because there should be another one, the ring and amulet set for one of these may actually belong with that, and the ring and amulet set for one of these armors that are here may not actually be in the files. I don't know. It hasn't happened before, meaning when I've been missing armors, the ring and amulet sets that were in the files match the armors that were there, and then when the armors that were missing showed up, they had their own ring and amulet set besides. So it hasn't happened before, but it's possible. I don't know. It's a good question. They do all look a lot the same. Like this one here, like the color scheme of these two side by side are very, very similar. And this one is dual air and this one's air and spirit. So the purpley bits, this one having more of a purpley look to it, obviously makes sense. But this one has almost blue, like almost like a more water look to it. So I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. They don't put the sheet on anything. These are all individual pieces. You missed the first part of it. Actually, no, you came in when I was reassembling. But the armors come out when the armors are extracted. They come out in order of size. So the largest file, like the largest kilobytes size file, is the first one. And then the second one is the next smallest, and the next smallest, and the next smallest, all the way down. They got to make it so hard on me. I don't know. It's just, it is what it is. I'm not too worried, but it is kind of irritating. I'm going to leave it the way it is, though, for now. Once the other armor shows up, which there should be another one, probably going to show up while I'm out of town. But I'll see if I can check while I'm out of town. But if it does show up, I'll look it back over again with a fine-tooth comb and make sure I'm not missing anything obvious, and I'll kind of take a look at things as well. But for now, I'm going to leave it the way it is. I'm just going to kind of go with it as it is. All right, let me go back to my other folder here. Let's start grabbing some, sorry for the flashy bits there. I'm going to grab my earth first. We're going to go here, earth, right about there, and earth, right about there. That looks about right. Oh, I've got this over here a bit too close. I move that one over just a titch. There we go. Much better. Okay, that looks, yeah, that looks better. Okay. Now we're going to go back to here. We're going to grab the fire, which there's only one, which makes it a little bit easier. Just this guy down here, all by his lonesome. Right about there. And we will grab spirit, which there are two. There's this one here. Put right about there. And this one here. Right about there. Now we have water, which we have two. We have water right. Actually, no, sorry, we have three waters. Sorry. Duh. There's that one. And that one. And that one. So coincidentally, the first two armors in the files are the raid armors. Out of just random chance, that happened to be the way it was. Just in size, file size, the air and earth and the air and water were the largest in the files. So there's air and earth. Air and water. Air and water again. Air and earth. Air and fire. And air and water number 3. Dual air. Oh, hang on. I gotta move that one down just a titch more. I want to get them to line up, and that will visually bug me if I don't have them lined up the same. Okay, and the last one. Like so. Okay, there we are. So I'm going to shorten this up right now, but I'm not going to, well, yeah, I'll shorten it up to about 1400 wide. Because I don't need it that wide. There we go, that's better. And then if I need to, I can resize things, move things around so they fit in there better. All right. Start putting random stuff in random places. Sorry, I'm just reading the chat. Can't just let him have it easy. Make it, it's like a scavenger hunt. Like the arm for the air, spirit, and the spirit back. So what you're saying is you want to make my life hell? Is that what you're saying? Make it worse than it already is? A mix of Blando and Blandos, a mix of Blando and Thanos, each piece different, and has no weakness. That's awesome. So basically star metal. Yeah, more or less. Next level star medal. New armor tier star medal. Anywho. We are at the hour and 50-minute mark. I need to get this done. Anywho. Alright, moving on. So let's do, let's build our little text boxy doohickey here. I think probably about like that should work. I need to pull out my color palette again because I'm going to need that in a minute. Text. Man, I got that almost perfectly centered. Moon metal. Boom. No, I don't think so, guys. I appreciate it, but I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen. Okay, now we have this guy here. I should probably move that down a bit, actually, before I move on. I am going to move that down, so it's a bit away from the armors. Not quite so close. There we go. Actually, I need to center that. Let me undo that. Okay. Before I move that onto there, let me center this in the actual sheet, first of all. I'm way off to the side. Holy cow. But because of the way the armors look, it looks like it's centered there. So I'm just going to leave it there. But let's move it down a bit. There we go. Okay. Their own rarity? Yeah, maybe. Okay, and material number 2. Just a quick judgment call here on this. I'm going to say that the ice skate is the regular material, and the kind of ice crystal is going to be the exclusive. Just a guess, but that's what I think. Okay, now we got boss number 1. Put him right about here. Boss number 2. Oops, don't do that. Why do you keep doing that? Doing copy. Goofy. Stop it. Computer's lagging on me, so when I alt-tab between windows, it doesn't alt-tab. It just kind of sits there. It's like, what do you want me to do? I'm confused. Stop being a dick. That's what I want you to do. Okay. Okay. I'll go back to my elements again. I need air first. Air right about, let me zoom in a bit. Sorry, I'm silent. I'm just trying to line these guys up as best I can so they match. Move you over just a titch. There we go. That looks good. Okay. Now I need earth, which is this dude on the left. And then water, which is this dude here on the right. Oh, come on. Paste, you piece of crap. Stop that. About like so. Okay, good. Alright, let's go and do the pets now. It does look a very water earth, yeah. Okay, so pets, let me quickly do these, because these I didn't even organize these before, so there we go. Okay, so that one I'm going to assume they're in order. That's convenient. Okay, so this one is tier 5, tier 4, tier 3, tier 2, tier 1. Perfect. Done. Easy. I'll go copy. Pet number 1. I'll put the labels here on those guys in just a second. Let's get you lined up where I want you. Right there. there. And this pet, if you're still on, Gabe, this pet looks a bit like a monkey to me. Some kind of creature that looks kind of monkey-esque. About there. And I'm lagging again for whatever strange reason. Cute pet, scratch that. Yeah, it's a definite weird one, that's for sure. There's the pet. I do like the look of the Tier 5 and Tier 4, though. Definitely better looking than the other ones. Tier 3 isn't bad, but I'm not a big fan of them either, really. Okay, let's make the little text boxy doohickey right about there. Right about there. And I'm not really a stickler on size of the boxes. I just kind of put them where I want them, and if I need to resize them, I of course always can, but I'm not too concerned. I'll resize them if they're too wide, but I'm not going to care too much about top to bottom. Not that big of a deal. Whoops. No, don't do that. Goofy. What are you doing? What is it highlighting? Stop that. And I may end up moving the pets up so I can make this shorter, because I don't need it this big. There we go. Much better. Okay. Now I got the cape, which I still need to put the cape on the exclusive, but I will put the cape on here really quick first, just so that's on there. But maybe just a bit to the side, so I have the room to put the exclusive with the cape on it. It looks so derpy, the T1. Yeah, it does not look really that great. It's like, what's up, guys? How's it going? You can call me Derpatron. It definitely has an air look to it, though. At least it's got a very, white air look to it, but it is kind of a derpy looking pet. Okay, so let me really quickly go into here and find my... Yeah. Let's edit that. And then edit that. Resize. There we go. Okay. Kind of cleaning out the extra background area here so I have nothing in the background to worry about. Looks water and matches the season. Yeah, that was very, very strange. I agree. Okay, so let's do a new layer, but put it behind the existing one. Actually, let me take all that and move it. Move it down to the bottom of this picture here so I can get that cape in there. And we're going to take this one. So I didn't want to grab this one, actually. I get the wrong one. We're going to use this guy here. Oops. Wrong select. There we go. Oops. Wrong layer. There we go. So this, I'm assuming, is what it's supposed to look like. Let's see here. Where's the center? There it is. Right about like that. Yeah. It looks like a bunch of ice, like ice crystals, but obviously that's water. But I think it still looks good on this armor. All the way around. Generally. Okay. So let's zoom that back up here. Lag. I think it's my computer, because it just randomly just... no, can't do, I think it's my computer. It just, for some reason, is freaking out. Move, thank you. Move you up to about here. So We can resize you to about 375. Yeah, that should be good. Oops. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. Copy. Let me see how this looks on here. Oh, good lord. No, never mind. Gotta resize that whole thing. Let's do it on 275. There we go. That looks better. Holy crap, that was huge. So there's... I can't do that either. It's going to be too big. No, actually, no, I can't. I can make a new layer. Derp. There we go. And there's the cape example. Ta-da! Okay, we'll get another text box here. There we go. Okay, now let me quickly save this before I move on. Okay. Alrighty, so now I'm going to grab this guy here. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, let me undo that really fast. And we're going to resize this whole guy to about 1150. I could even go shorter than that, actually. Let's undo that, actually. Undo. Whoa, shit. Wrong one. Whoa! I just about messed myself up. There we go, much better. So it's right up at the bottom edge. Okay. Alright, so let's do text here. Oops, sorry, no, I need to fill this back in here. So fill that in, that, and that. Groovy. Alright, so now I need to go to text. Go to my favorite color here for these guys. So this is first row, first armor. Get you kind of centered where you need to be. First row, second armor. It's bugging me. Trying to get this lined up. There we go. Okay, good to go. Alright, now we go here. Now we go here. Oh, I hate when it does this. Freaks out on me. Uh-oh. Maybe I shouldn't have made it so short. Crap. I can't type today. Holy God. There we go. That'll work. Right there. And I'll put the other one here. Season 40. Fire. I'll put that. Fire. What the hell am I doing? God damn. Sorry, I saw the fire emblem right there and it messed me up. Okay. Sorry. Again, I'm fried. This has been a long ass week. So fried. Okay. Let's make an effect on this guy here and make you glow so you grab attention. There we go. Okay, that'll work for now. So again, I'm probably going to resize this. I may have to make it wider because there's likely going to be another armor. Cut off half the Datamine. Yeah, big time derp. I'm likely going to have to resize this because if I put another armor in here, I'm going to need roughly at least this much room, and there just isn't that much room there on the right hand side. So I'm probably going to have to make it a little bit wider this way. And then I may, depending on what happens, I may look at the armors and the rings and amulets in more detail and really zoom in close so I can look at the details of each one. And if I decide it doesn't match, I'll move them. But for now, I can safely say the top row, except for the air water in the middle, I'm not 100% sure about. I've got the rings and amulet sets on the top row done. Air and water, not 100% positive, but I think it works. I know the ring and amulet set for the air and water here, the fourth on the bottom row matches, and I know the air and the fire on the bottom right matches. So I'm good on those. It's mostly just these two here, the dual air and the air and spirit. I'm just not positive on those. So here's my predictions. Now obviously the air and earth and the air and water are the raid armors. What order, I don't know. The air and fire down here at the bottom right is a seasonal. I'm going to say that the air and spirit over here on the right is going to be a war armor. The air and spirit down here on the bottom left, row 2, number 1, B1 if you prefer, is going to be a seasonal. The dual air, of course, is the exclusive unless they change something or add a new armor. The air and water, number 3 on the bottom, the second row, B3, is going to be the fusion armor for this month. And then the air and water here on the top is going to be another war armor. The air and the earth on the right, the right hand air and earth, the number 4, A4, is going to be a seasonal. That's my guesstimates at this point. So starting from the top, we're going to go raid, war, seasonal, war, seasonal, exclusive, fusion, seasonal, in that order. So that's what I think at this point. Obviously, if we have 5 events this month, we're missing an armor, so there'll be another one. I'm going to guess that if they do add another armor, it's probably going to be either air earth or air fire. Air earth is the more likely of the two, but we have had wars that are air fire before, so I wouldn't put it past them to put another air fire in there. But for now, that's it. So we are done. I'm going to go ahead and save this really quick before I move on and mess something else up, like chop off the right hand side of the sheet here. So I'm going to save this as my final product. And there we go. And I'm sure I'm going to be updating this again here in the near future because I don't think this is done. I think we're missing an armor. And it's possible, as I said earlier, that the ring and amulet sets actually don't match what's here. There might be a ring or an amulet or both that go with a missing armor. So, for example, if we're missing, like, say, an air water or an air spirit, it would make more sense. That this one, for example, doesn't really seem to fit with his armor, and so it might go with a different one, or one of that maybe. I don't know. It's a little all over the place. So, for now, that's it. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Before we go, one final thing I wanted to mention. Again, I'm trying to remind myself to do this with every stream. Right down below the viewing window, there is a donate button if you feel so inclined. If you want to donate to help me get better gear than what I currently have. I'm rather envious of Doc right now. He just got a new computer and new stuff, so I'm rather envious of him at the moment. But that's it. So everyone, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in 3 weeks, 4 weeks-ish. So that'll be it. Thanks, everyone. Have a good one.